in the UK and Europe. So I think we have quite a number of people on the line this morning, so rather than holding up anybody who's been prompt and logged in on time, I think we should start. So thank you very much everybody for turning up. The reason for this morning's call is to give you an overview of what global reviews are going to be running for in conjunction with the World Cup in a couple of weeks' time. Just to give you a bit of background to, sorry, my screen doesn't seem to be working. Okay, very good. Just want to give you a bit of background on global reviews and who global reviews are. Global reviews were an Australian headquartered company, been in business since the year 2000, so with over 14 years experience in the digital world and measuring the digital journeys. So we're leading data, we're an analytics, and we're an advisory organization. The data and analysis that global reviews covers for the online digital journeys of companies measures the marketing effectiveness and the digital sales outcomes of their customer journey online. This morning we'll be very much focusing on the marketing effectiveness tasks for the sports betting industry around the upcoming World Cup. We measure not only the online journey for websites, but we also do the mobile journeys for a number of companies or in a number of industries. You can see from the hero side, we work with some of the top providers in the sports betting world, but we're also very strong in the insurance and banking industries also. The insights that we've been providing to these companies over the last number of years, the key thing here is it's very measurable, it's direct, it's honest, the data doesn't lie. What we use is real in-market consumers or consumers who are in the market to open up a sports betting account imminently or who are open to switching their sports betting accounts in the next couple of months. So the customers that we put through our methodology are very much real potential customers for any of you guys or for any of the sports betting companies in the market. We not only kind of provide the data, but we also provide the advisory behind the data and actually put real-life examples to the data to our clients. So we actually help our clients to set best practice standards across their organizations, and not only just in local offices but internationally. And we're working with a number of very large organizations who actually set their digital KPIs based around the data that we're providing these organizations, and they're building elements of their websites based on the data that we're providing them, and we benchmark them not only on their own website against best practice but also their competitor set internationally also. So I'll give you a flavor for global reviews and who we are and some of the companies that we're working with. The customer journey online. Okay, the customer journey online goes everything from starts with marketing, actually starts offline, it starts with brand awareness, and how do companies go searching for these companies. Once they find the companies, then they land on your website or are driven to your website either directly through Google searches, through affiliate sites, through comparison sites, and so on. As soon as they land on your website, then there's a journey to be taken. At all steps, from offline to search to actually your website itself, there are a number of factors that you need to be building in at every single stage, such as trust. Why do companies trust you? Why should companies actually engage with you? Why should companies open up an account and deposit their hard-earned cash into your account, into your systems, in order to hopefully get a return for themselves? So we're measuring those kind of sentiments and behaviors and attitudes of consumers across the full journey. So for this morning's benefit, we're going to concentrate on the first two elements of this journey, which are the discover and the consider phases of the journey. We also have a study for sales effectiveness that take in consider and act, but for this morning's purposes we'll concentrate on the former two. So the discover and consider phases. So how easily can customers find you? How strong is the attraction to you? Are you building trust with that company? Why are they choosing you? And why are they not choosing you and choosing your competitors? These are key factors that are unique to the Global Reviews marketing effectiveness study. And even when they do land on your website, how effectively do they engage? Are you engaging your customers and helping them match your products to their needs? Now, with the upcoming World Cup, the World Cup is going to be probably the largest betting event probably ever online, most certainly this year. UK bookmakers alone are expecting to take as much as £3 billion in action during the World Cup. So any percentage or any slice of this that can be gained is obviously going to have a huge impact on the annual revenues or the growth revenues for any of the sports betting operators. When it comes to a marketing study like this and the effectiveness of your marketing and your brand, there are lots of companies out there who are doing brand effectiveness, and absolutely rightly so. What we do is different. We actually go beyond the brand effectiveness and the brand awareness. So we actually go beyond that and as to the consumers who do not choose your brand, where do they go? The consumers who do shortlist your brand, so you're there, you're in their consciousness, you're actually a consideration for them. What are they doing afterwards? Why are they choosing you if they're not choosing you? Why do they choose you if they do? So these kind of answers and this kind of data and insights are going to be invaluable to, I suppose, setting digital agenda and your marketing spend. The base study from a methodology point of view that we will be going through will be based on 200 participants in the UK qualified as being in market to place a bet during the World Cup 2014. So we're not looking for people who might take a bet. We're actually going to be going into market and finding 200 plus people who are actually going to bet during the World Cup. So that will give us, there's around 1,000 different data points that we're actually measuring through the whole process. We actually download an applet onto these participants' computers. We use some of the world's largest mystery shopping companies to find and qualify these participants for us. So it's very much a big data scenario with over 200,000 data points collected in total during the actual study. If a company wanted to, I suppose, boost the sample for a particular area or a particular demographic, we can actually boost the sample as well for that particular company, and that data would be owned by that company only and not available to any other participants of the study. So what we do is we take these 200 plus people, we download an applet onto their PC, and we tell them, go find the odds on England during the group stages in the World Cup, or we'll set certain tasks based in that time frame and on that topic. So the SEO you're spending, the pay-per-click that the SEO you're actually activating, your pay-per-click that you're spending money on, any branding, marketing activities that you are going to be doing in the run-up to the World Cup will all be kind of measured by this data. So this is very much going to be a learning curve as to going to be not necessarily going to be working for you if your brand isn't going to feature quite heavily in the study, because this is a general public study. The public actually decide whom they're going to bet with. They go and search. We don't influence it in any way. So it's like, go find the odds on England during the group stages of the World Cup. And we're being very careful during the group stages so that we make sure that England are still involved. Speaking as an Irishman, I can get that in there. So it's a blank screen study. Go find the odds. These consumers will go. They'll search in their way. They will use their online. We will ask them prior to them actually searching for their brand awareness. So we'll ask them which brands were they aware of before they actually start searching. Then they do their searches. So we're getting a brand awareness map as well. And then we'll ask them to shortlist the providers they would consider betting with. And then we will actually ask them to prefer their online sports betting provider for the World Cup 2014 as well. So we'll get a full view on the customer, I suppose the consumer consideration funnel for betting on the World Cup. This is going to be hugely important for you to measure the effectiveness of your spend during the World Cup, the effectiveness of the spend of the big companies or your main competitors during the World Cup, and this will hopefully influence how you will actually approach large events in the future. So using the large, I have to make clear as well that this is part of an ongoing program that Global Reviews have been doing. We've actually been, for the last 3-4 years, gathering data on the sports betting industry. We've been running syndicated studies on both the marketing effectiveness and sales effectiveness of the sports betting industry. So this is actually part of a continuous program, but because of the size of the World Cup, the amount of revenue that's going to be, we decided that we would also do a one-off for companies who wanted to buy into the program on a one-off basis. Normally people buy in for 2, 3, 4 runs of the study over the space of a 12-month or 24-month period. So the time frame for this study is obviously going to be between June the 12th and June the 24th. We're probably going to concentrate, because it's a UK-centric study and the consumers are going to be in the UK, we're going to concentrate on Group D, which is obviously going to be England's group. There'll be huge interest in their matches against Uruguay because of Luis Suarez and so on. There'll also be obviously huge interest from a European derby in their Italy game. So the amount of potential for, I suppose, brand awareness and for revenues and growth, and there's lots of casual punters will decide to bet on the World Cup who may not necessarily be your regular customers. So this is actually a great opportunity and a great measurement on how you attract new customers from the general betting pool and people who will be willing to bet on an ad hoc basis. So this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for that. But I think the bigger opportunity is to see how you perform there and see how the big brands are performing in this area, so we can actually see and give you answers to some of the following unknowns. So how are you currently positioned within your market? Do you have brand awareness? Do you not have a brand awareness? Who has all the brand awareness? What impacts are your marketing activities for World Cup 2014 and those of your competitors? How are they making decisions based on your brand? That's going to be hugely important. And this is the kind of the why and the how. Where in the consumer consideration funnel are we being dropped by potential customers? So you have brand awareness. They might visit your site, but they're not shortlisting you. Why not? They are shortlisting you, but they're not preferring you. Why not? So these are the answers that we really need to know from our potential customer base to start attracting new customers and enacting growth. Which competitors are winning our target customers and why? So let's see, let's learn from the competitor set. What are they doing well? Why are they actually growing? Why are they winning my customers? What can I do to stop that? And what can I do to reverse that? So here's a graph. I will actually go from the slides here into the live portal if possible as well, just to show you how we actually portray the data and the data that you'll be able to see from the World Cup Special Digital Marketing Effectiveness Study from next month. As I said, we've been gathering data for the last number of years on the sports betting industry, so we have data already. I'm going to show you some examples of data that we have going back to early last year, so it doesn't really affect the companies involved. We have here, we can see who the brand recall is and who performs really well in brand recall, and we can see that it's Ladbrokes perform very well in brand recall. William Hill performed very well in brand recall. There are no surprises here. These are the companies you would expect in the UK to perform very, very well. You would have thought brand recall for Paddy Power might be a bit higher, however, but again, that was early last year. If we did that now, my guess is that's an awful lot higher. But it's how we're converting, how we're actually moving on the journey from there. So people who visited your website, people may not necessarily visit your website because they're so aware of the brand they're going to put you straight to shortlist, but then they may not prefer you and they didn't visit your website. So what's going on there? Did you not show up very well in Google search or in the comparison websites? They discounted you before they actually visited your website, and that would be worrying. So we need to see who's visiting your website, but more importantly, who's actually shortlisting you. How many people, how are you performing in the shortlist stakes? The consumers can shortlist as many competitors or companies as they wish. So they're creating their own shortlist. And then we ask them to choose one final preference. So as you can see, while Ladbrokes were way up on the brand recall in this particular one, this was from early Q1 2013, I think, down to visits, okay. Shortlist, pretty good. Almost as many shortlists as they brand recall. So they automatically put them on their shortlist, but dropped way, way down on the final preference. Now everyone's going to drop on final preference because they can only choose one. But Ladbrokes will be trying to figure out how we can actually increase that final preference number from our already very good, very aware, very strong brand awareness. And so on for the rest of the companies. So it's how do we do that? So why do customers visit your website but not place a bet with you? This is the kind of data that's going to be invaluable that you can't get from analytics. Analytics will give you one click to and one click from. And while that's massively important, and I would never underestimate its importance, we need to go further. We need to do a bit of a deep dive into the psyche of our consumers and why they're choosing us and why they're not. So why do customers visit our website but not place a bet with you? Global reviews will provide us with the lost opportunity. The lost opportunity is these are the consumers who shortlisted me but did not prefer me. So that's my lost opportunity. It's not necessarily the brand awareness people because that's very early in the stage. We have to build trust all the way through. We're actually on their shortlist. They're considering us, but they didn't choose us. Why? To which companies did I lose customers to? Okay, so this is based on one particular company, and these are all the companies that they lost business to. So it's good to know where your consumers are going because once people leave your website, you have no idea where they're going. This is the customers telling us where they did go. Very valuable information. And why were these companies preferred by customers? Okay, so their brand was strong. I've used them before. They've had the best deal offers for my needs. Again, this is an ongoing program, so to be able to judge these kind of responses over a space of time is going to be massively important. But even on a one-off for the World Cup, where people are going to be putting an awful lot of marketing dollars, how is that performing? Why didn't they trust us? Why did they choose somebody else? And this kind of information is going to be massively, massively important. So the brand preference, we delve even further down into the brand preference. You know, which company would the consumer initially prefer before conducting research? Great to know the company, but why? Why did the customer initially prefer this company? Very, very important to go further. So we're going further with every question. Why didn't the customers have initially preferred a company? Which companies would the customer shortlist, but why did they shortlist these companies? Which company did customers select as preferred from their shortlist? Why was this company preferred by customers? Why did customers not select a preferred company from their shortlist? So we're always asking the why. We're asking why, we're asking how, we're asking which, we're asking how, we're asking if. So these things are very, very important. What were the journeys potential customers took in searching for a provider? So we do know Google search is going to finish top, but very often it's people typing in the name of the company into the Google search bar. They're not actually putting in paddypower.com, they're putting paddypower into the Google URL, so it's actually showing up as search. So it's how to actually measure and, I suppose, boost your SEO, boost your PPC to make sure that you actually when people put in these searches, that you're also appearing very high on the lists. A very exciting development with global reviews coming in the next month, we will have it and we'll be able to add it to the study in July, is the search terms people are using. And the search terms people are actually using when when searching for sports betting providers for specific events or for specific reasons, and what search terms they're using that are going to be successful for which brands. So that's something that's going to be a development into the Global Reviews portal very soon, and that we'll be able to add into the study also. I just can't show it to you today, unfortunately. So we're able to see what multiple searches that people are taking and what searches people are taking for specific brands as well. So we can break everything down to a specific brand and also to multiple journeys. We go further again and we look for their attitudes. We're looking for the behaviours of customers, the customers that are researching and benchmarking and looking for insights online. So we're able to ask you if a customer found a suitable product offer on a comparison website, what would they do next? There's no analytics that's going to be able to tell you that. The customers are telling us what they do next. Why does the customer prefer to apply through a preferred provider's website? They'd rather deal directly with a provider. I thought I would get the best deal here, because they're trying to cut out the middleman. You know, people are still people think about when they're searching online like they do maybe booking a holiday. They'll go direct rather than going to a travel agent these days, because the perception is they're cutting out the middleman and cutting out a commission along the way. It's no different in sports betting. I thought it would be good to get the quickest way to do it. Let's go direct to the provider. So we're getting very valuable insights here into the psyche of the customer and what they're thinking when performing certain tasks. How important are the following when choosing a preferred company? So now we can see how important is trust. You know, the ability to manage the entire process online, hugely important. So if this is when it comes to the more considered stage of the funnel. They get online, they're now on your website. Can they finish the journey seamlessly on your website? Next part of the global review study is actually measuring that, and that's actually putting people directly onto your website. They can't go anywhere else and go through a full 500 data point methodology on your website. That's for another day. For today, we're actually telling you why they do this. What are the reasons and how important are the following when choosing a company? It's amazing that down at the end, so like lots of the obvious ones are very high up, but down at the end, you know, the opinion of family and friends, word of mouth is still very strong. The one that scores least here is the ability to discuss the product offer with a representative from the provider over the phone. This is from Q1 2013. It's actually changed quite a bit. Because expectations are being set, companies such as paddypower.com now have a kind of a call service on their website. If you look at the support service they have on their website, and they set expectations time-wise as to, you know, ask an advisor will take you 20 seconds to get a response. An email might take you 20 minutes to get a response, but you have the choice of how you want to communicate with the company. Whether people use these facilities or not is actually almost irrelevant. It's a hygiene factor that your website has to have now. So standards have been set in certain industries, and we're taking best practice not only from sports betting here, but we're taking it from across the board in all the industries that we work with, you know, insurance, telecoms, banking. Asking an advisor or being able to do web chat. While web chat is almost an expectation now, the usage, I've heard companies tell me that they're testing it to see how much it's going to be used. I actually think it's good to have it whether it's being used or not. Now, how you man that afterwards can be judged on the use, but the expectation of consumers to be able to talk to somebody, a real person who's dealing with their money, is very important. So while we want a seamless online journey, we have to listen to the consumers as to what they expect also. Current customers of which provider. So we're actually able to tell you from the study, you can actually highlight, you know, of all the consumers that we've surveyed for this, or that we've downloaded an applet onto their computer and track them, and we track every move they make while searching. We give them a finite time to go and search for this, so they might have 30 minutes, 60 minutes to go and find a provider. So we do it kind of in a real-time perspective. Most of us don't have all day to go sit down and research a sports betting provider. The casual bettor, who is I suppose the low-hanging fruit here to go and actually increase your audience over the World Cup, are people who are going to spend 30 minutes researching, if that. So it's to be able to go measure and track these people over that time frame is going to be hugely important. But we'll be able to tell you those who don't have a betting account currently. And because it's a representative sample, who are people who are in the market to bet during the World Cup, a lot of them will actually have a sports betting account already. But we'll tell you with whom the sports betting account is with. So they'll tell us who they currently bet with or who they have an account with. Not only that, but we can actually go and you can, within the portal, click on William Hill and be actually able to see and get all the answers based on the consumers of William Hill. So if you want to see what the profile of the consumers for William Hill are and what their activities and their attitudes and behaviours are. You click on William Hill and all the data changes based on how William Hill are performing. I'm going to try something a little bit risky here now and actually switch to the actual online portal. I'm going to bring up data here that's from Q1 2013. Okay, for obvious reasons, I don't want to give any more recent than that. You will be able to see from our portal and how we actually deliver the data. We can actually give the consideration funnel in easy to consume data. You can compare your acquisition and sales funnel against the top providers in the market. But you can also see it as a graph here for everybody in the market. So if I wanted to click 888 and bet Fred, for example, I can see those there. And maybe I want to take out Paddy Power and William Hill and Ladbrokes because they're not relevant to me. Then we can actually see the brand recall to visited, to shortlisted, to final preference for all of these companies. What brand websites did customers visit? And this is just the first page. This is just very much the overview of at a top level. So we can see who the best performing amongst your competitors are. You know, so recall the visits, William Hill at 74%, 200% visits to shortlist. So more people shortlisted them than actually visited them, twice that amount. But that would go with being a very strong household brand, so to speak, in the sports betting world. We can go in, if you're a part of the ongoing program, you buy into multiple studies, you can boost your sample and get it over a larger time frame by selecting multiple periods of where the study was run. But we can also filter the data based on age profiles, gender, income, location, or if there's a current customer of any particular account. Actually, that's a filter I put in for William Hill a while ago, so I'm just going to take that out. So we can see how easy consumable the data is. So where you're actually going to be spending your marketing dollar, you have C-level executives to answer to. Being able to display this kind of data and the proof and insights that it provides is going to be really, really strong. So if I go and look at, let's say, for attitudinal insights, which is where we have a lot of the why and the how questions, you simply go into that section of the portal and you'll get the list of questions and the results in here. So what type of website or channel would customers think of using when researching a company for this product or service? So we can see Google's always going to be pretty high up there. There's nothing new in that. But we can actually, again, click on a company name and see all the results based on that company name. At any stage, we can go and we can download that particular data, or we could view it as raw data as well. How do customers, why do customers use a search engine? What percentage of research for a product service? How long do customers spend researching? Over what elapsed time? So we're giving you insight, real insight that real customers spent online. So this is how they spent their time searching. This is and their purchasing behavior. We give you voice of the customer where appropriate. So where you see plus signs, if the score was 5 or less, we actually give you what they're saying. But it's very much, you know, is a customer a current customer of any of these companies in the industry? So if we go, let's say, Ladbrokes, for example, I'm now going to get all the data based on the customers who are already customers of Ladbrokes. So the insight you're getting into these companies and the behavior of their customers is invaluable, and it's data you cannot get anywhere else. Considering all of this, and this is data based around the largest sporting event that's going to happen probably ever online to date, most certainly this year, £3 billion in the UK alone. So if you're learning from the best branded companies, the companies with most brand awareness, or even companies with less brand awareness, and you're figuring out how they're winning their customers, where they're losing their customers, that opens up. There's actions that you can go and enact now. You can go to your marketing or your marketing plan now and actually go and enact campaigns that are going to win those customers. It's how you might approach a large event, the next large event. You know, Brazil has the World Cup this year. They're going to have the Olympics. There's going to be World Championships. There's going to be Wimbledon during the summer. There's always a big event that's going to be, that will be, I suppose, where you focus your marketing dollars on. So being able to enact these findings based on those events is going to be, I suppose, create your return on your investment, especially create your return on your digital marketing investment. But sometimes it starts offline, goes online, but building the brand awareness, building trust right through the journey is going to be absolutely invaluable to you. So if I just maybe go into one other area here, like brand preference, and brand preference is something that we covered in the slides earlier. At each stage of the journey, by the way, we score you. So while the scores are not important in themselves, they do enable some of our clients to set their internal KPIs regarding their digital strategy and how well they're performing. There's always going to be a competitive view, so you can see how you're performing against your competitors, how you performed against the industry, how you performed against the last time we ran the study. So it's all about continuous improvement. The digital world is moving so quickly and so fast. We need to be constantly evolving to catch up. This is going to provide you with the proof and the evidence of maybe what you're doing is correct, maybe it's not, maybe your goal is to end up on this list, or if you're already on this list, to actually move up the list and become more brand aware, more trustworthy, and have a better seamless online experience. So there's 30 minutes on the World Cup special digital marketing effectiveness that we're currently running. The costs that we have for this journey, as I say, this is normally part of an ongoing program. So the normal online program is £7,000 per data run, and we run workshops and so on. We are offering this particular study as a one-off buy. We do feel as part of a program you learn and you set your standards and you learn on a continuous basis. But if people want a flavour for what they can do and where they are right now, or where the competitors are right now, we are selling this as a one-off program for the World Cup. So if people purchase or sign up for this particular study before June the 13th, before we get into the group stages of the World Cup, it's £8,000. After June the 13th, it's £9,000. And obviously, minimum 2 data runs on the program. There's nothing stopping companies from buying into the program as per normal, which is £7,000 per data run. I have some questions here before we wrap up. How does the Global Review's search terms differ from Google Analytics and keywords? Okay. Google Analytics and keywords are going to be giving you the data based on your website, the traffic that came to your website and from your website. The Global Review's data is going to be the search terms that people used when they went to find one of your competitors. So at the moment, your Google Analytics keywords for pay-per-click are probably going to be based on which words are most expensive. You know which words are being used by, or which terms are being used by your competitors, pretty much by how much you're going to have to pay for them. This is going to give you a view of the keywords being used that you can go then and obviously research the price on with Google and so on, but we're actually going to give you the terms that are being used by potential customers. These are customers you don't have access to currently, unless they already have an account with you. So these are the terms that people are going to use, probably to end up on one of your competitor sites. So it's data that you don't have access to. Hope that answers that question. The second one is, how do I get access to the data? Hopefully I showed you from the portal. We do give access to the people who buy into it, get portal access. So they get portal access for anybody in the organization who are part of their team. So we do that. And we also have a support function on the data as well for people. We don't believe in just giving data and walking away. We're huge fans of actionable insights and making sure that you use the data. You can see from the cost of the data, it doesn't break the bank. If anything, to do this kind of market research with that amount of people in the market and that broader scope of data being fed into the portal, it would cost you an awful lot more. We run these typically on a syndicated process, so we can actually keep the costs down. So giving you access to the data and leaving you alone is not really part of our business plan. We want to partner with the companies that we're working with. The brands that you saw earlier on, while they're some of the bigger brands and that we shout about, we work with a number of brands of different sizes and different awareness, but it's building that relationship, building the return on their digital investment. We're a very small investment in that, and we partner with you, and you get best practice. 15 years experience in the industry, principal advisors that are coming from Forrester, BBC Digital, and other very, very strong brands and with huge background in digital marketing. Nobody probably has more experience for this kind of digital journey than Global Reviews do, so you have access to that also. The third question I have, and the final question that I'll take this morning, is who is surveyed? The consumers that we put through our data, that we download our applet onto their computers, the consumers that we actually use to gather the data are consumers who are qualified to be in the market to place a bet during the World Cup next month. So they're your real in-the-market potential customers. It is a general sample of the population as regards where we go to find these people. We're not looking for specialized professional gamblers or punters. We're looking for you and I who go and place a bet, and I will be placing a bet on the World Cup next month, and we'll ask them to go and find a provider. So it's real in-the-market consumers, and it doesn't get any more accurate than that. It doesn't get any more real than that. It really is the, I suppose, as good as you walking out into a room full of people who will be placing a bet on the World Cup and asking them questions, but we'll do it a lot more cleverly. So thank you very much, everybody. If you wanted any further information or if you want to contact us, my details are on the screen now. I will distribute the slides and the recording where possible. So liam.o'callaghan@globalreviews.com is my email address. Our Twitter handle is @globalreviews. All my details are there. Phone numbers are easy to reach off the top of my head. It's London number 020-725-8262. So that's 0203-725-8262. So please feel free to give me a call, send me an email, and converse with us and ask us further questions, and we'll be delighted to help. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time this morning. Have a good day.